you want to try and break that boundary, but at the same time, let them know, yeah, I am still the safety manager, the safety coordinator, or whatever, it's still my responsibility to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, great question. Anybody else gonna try to stump me?
Sorry. You said some of your job experiences ended badly. How did you go forward in the hiring process to explain what happened?
Wow, I could do a whole Saturday on this, man, because I feel like I'm a professional interviewer, all right? I can sell myself to a fraud. I mean, literally. I could probably be classified as a job hopper, and you don't want that classification. Most employers want to see at least 2 years at every place you stayed at, preferably at least 3. I have a lot of jobs on mine that show a year, 6 months, like I said, year and a half. I'll tell you what I've told every employer I've ever interviewed, and it came up with this job actually when I interviewed for this job. My explanation on that is I have such a passion for what I do that once I get to a certain point within my leadership ability, my influence ability based on that position, that I get very bored. And when I get bored, I start looking at Indeed or Monster or whatever, and then, you know, a headhunter calls and I'm like, man, that sounds like an awesome job, you know? But that's really what I talk about. I talk about what I accomplished in that short period of time, and that what I offered each individual employer as I went on. It's something you have to think through, and it's something that I hate to hear, man. I hate to hear it every time. I'll tell you, I had a company call me in Canada. I wanted this job so bad, and I had done a behavior, spoke at a behavior conference in Miami last year, and one of the CEOs was of this company, Canadian company, and when they found out, and they wanted it, and they were paying an outrageous amount of money, and when they found out that I had so many jobs, he actually told me, he apologized, and I said, don't apologize. And he said, man, our policy is we can't hire somebody like me. So it's hurt me in my career. It's hurt me pretty bad as far as opportunity, pay rise. Look, I'm being very honest with you guys. I'm open. You know what? I'll never retire. My 401k is so bad it's unreal. I put money in 401k. The problem is I never matured. You know, most companies want you to be there for 5 years or 3 years or whatever. Heck, I've had companies that wanted you to be there after a year. You were vested in their 401k, you know, where they matched. Couldn't even make that, you know. But let me tell you, in a way, I paid a dear price. My wife is going to pay the price too, probably, because I'm not going to, you know, in the 401ks I did very well. I had GE or whatever, you know, the stock market has taken most of that. So from an honest standpoint, it's not the way to go. That's why I said what I said in the beginning. Know what you want to do and stick with that plan. And I'm not telling you to stay at a company that you hate, that's not a right fit for you. I'm not telling you that at all. But learn how to work through those adversities. You won't have to go through that. But if you do, I'll give you my card. You call me out and we'll get you through it for a fee. Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
How did you get involved with the John Maxwell organization?
You know, I got involved with John Maxwell because, short story is, I was in a leadership role at our church, and John Maxwell is a former pastor and teacher, and so our pastor at this church was making the leadership go through his programs, and I fell in love with it. And then I started just reading books on my own from him, you know, how to be a person of influence. You know, everyone communicates if you connect, and it just hit home. And so when I found this program, and Dale Carnegie has a like program too, I just started getting really hooked up into it, and I love it. It's changed my entire way of thinking. Excellent program. Yes, ma'am.
Since you're supposed to build relationships with your employees, do you think the motto "safety first" is kind of deceptive?
Never, ever say safety first. Ever. I never want to hear that word, that phrase. I come in like an animal to companies that have posters that say safety first. I hate it. Safety is not first. Safety is not our priority. Priorities change. Things that I need to do change, right?
Right.
My values aren't going to change. Safety has to be a core value of that organization. That's what you're building into those relationships. I never want to hear safety professionals say safety first. In fact, I interviewed somebody for this job that I just hired on, and he made that comment, and I abruptly ended the interview. That's not a professional that I want working for me. You're not going to tear everything I've worked my whole life on. Thank you for saying that.
No, that's why I said it was deceptive, because production's usually, like, for a company, a lot of times, it's one of their main priorities.
It is.
And you don't want to tell them that safety's first whenever other people are pushing production.
You know what you tell them? Safety is no different than cost, productivity, or quality, or anything. When I teach safety culture, I teach a class how to create an incident-free culture, and in that class, I show a pie, and safety is just a slice in that pie, equal slice in that pie. It's nothing more, nothing less. Man, get that. If you guys will get that, that would be awesome. And my CEO says safety first all the time, and I'll correct him every time. He gives me the look, but I just tell him I'll knock that look off of you. So. Anything else, man? I know we're going long, but I love the question. Look, let me go ahead and end it. Hopefully you have 7 a.m. classes, because I hated those when I was there. So I want you to feel the pain. So yeah, I'll stick around. If you got questions, come see me.
Before you leave, there's a little, if you want to stay, there's giveaways later and a little bit more information. So I wanted to thank Mr. Denis Baker for coming to the meeting and giving the presentation. This is one of John Maxwell's books that he signed, and really thank you for what you did. John Maxwell talks about things that matter, and in this book he talks about 12 basic steps that you can take on every day to improve yourself and your connections. So
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Take whatever's in that box. If I have to take anything home with me, I'm going to be mad. Which really doesn't mean it.
Okay, for the student, thank you. For the student presidents, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to prepare any comments that you have. Okay, for the UCO and OSU student presidents. Is the OSU student president still here? Okay, well good, glad you're here. So I'll give you a couple minutes and you can prepare any comments that you have. One good thing about this joint meeting that we've never done before is for our professional members who have attended the meeting, it costs $10 for our dinner. We're going to split the profits from this meeting with the student sections. So Flow Logistics has taken care of all of our dinner. Thank you for taking care of dinner. Mike, do you know how many professional members we had in attendance?
We collected $150.
Wow, so the student sections, OSU and UCO get the split, so $75 to each of your student chapters. So that's awesome. Very good. Would you like to say anything about the Tulsa chapter and current events you guys have going on?
Just be real brief, but we're going to give away some gift cards here real soon, but I'm curious for the students, would anybody like $60? I can give each of you $60. I'm a co-chair of the planning committee for the 2014 Oklahoma Safety and Health Conference. The ASSE is teaming up with Oklahoma Safety Council, Oklahoma Department of Labor to put this conference on next year. And for students who are willing to give a couple hours of time volunteering, registration, whatever, hosting a room, just a couple hours of time, the Safety Council has agreed to give free admission to the whole conference. So if you're willing to donate a couple hours of work, you can get free admission for the whole conference. It's great value. Bill's chairing the speaker committees. We're working real hard to have a good conference that's worth coming to and learning from. So,
How do they volunteer if they'd like to volunteer?
I have some cards. I'll leave here. You can get a hold of me.